Welcome to the Three Mouseketeers, the sibling podcast that understands your Disney addiction. I'm Jared.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Emily.
On this episode, we're going to be going across the ocean to Hong Kong Disneyland. But first, I want to ask Amanda and Emily to guess the quote. You guys ready to play?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to quote a Disney movie, and you're going to give me the movie that it comes from.
Okay.
Okay.
Extra points if you can tell me the character that says the quote.
All right. Let's do this.
Okay. The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all. This is a Disney animated movie.
Okay. Just making sure. It's actually Disney. It's not Pixar. It's Disney.
It is Disney.
Say the quote again.
The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all.
I feel like it could be Pocahontas or Mulan.
I feel like those are good guesses. This is a really difficult one.
It is. Ooh. I'm not good at quotes.
I know, me neither. I wish you could give us multiple choice on
I
this
know.
one.
Okay, I'll give you multiple choice.
He's going to get list those too.
Is it A, Pocahontas, B, Mulan, C, Frozen, or D, Moana?
I feel like it could be Moana too.
I know. See, and whenever he first read it, my initial reaction was Moana. But then once you threw out Pocahontas and Mulan, I felt like those were good too. I don't think it's Frozen.
I don't think so either. Okay. Can you say the quote one more time, please?
One last time. The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all.
I think I'm going to go with Moana.
Okay, Emily's going with Moana. Amanda, what do you think?
I want to ask Em, who do you think said that?
I don't know. Maybe the grandma. I'm not really sure though.
Amanda, I'm going to need an answer.
I'm gonna go with Pocahontas.
You're going to go with Pocahontas. Okay, so we have Moana from Emily and Pocahontas from Amanda, and neither of those are correct. It is Mulan.
Oh. So who
darn.
says it in Mulan?
Take a guess. Just a off the top of your head guess.
Mushu.
Emily, what about you? Okay, Mushu? No, that is not correct. It is the Emperor.
Oh. Okay.
Interesting.
All right, Emily, that's going to bring us to a history fact.
All right. So I feel like everyone is under the assumption, for the most part, that Walt Disney is the one who drew and animated Mickey Mouse. But, in fact, he is not the person who drew Mickey Mouse.
What?
I know, right? Mickey Mouse was actually drawn by Iwerks. And him and Walt Disney were partners, for people who don't know, for quite a while. They were best friends. They'd known each other for a long time. They worked together. They animated together. And they created Oswald together. And when that cartoon was kind of taken away from them, they needed a new character that was going to, make them famous, I guess, really. And so they sat down and brainstormed about it. And Ub drew a horse, a cow, a frog, a dog, he pretty much drew all the animals you could think of, and none of them were working. And so finally, he drew a mouse, and he had several different variations of the mouse. Some of them kind of looked more like rat-like, and then they finally settled on the original Mickey Mouse. And although he is the one who drew it, Walt did voice Mickey Mouse for quite a while, but the funny thing is, and the reason that people think that Walt Disney is the one who actually drew Mickey Mouse is because whenever him and Ub went their separate ways, they kind of had a falling out. Walt Disney really claimed Mickey Mouse and kind of took credit for it, but that's not how the story goes in reality. And apparently, Ub really worked himself hard doing the illustrations, and he at one point was doing 700 illustrations of Mickey Mouse for their first cartoon every single day. So
That's
he
insane.
did a lot of Mickey Mouse drawing.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
a few. Yeah.
I do want to say, though, that I would have really loved to see Horus the Horse.
Horus the Horse.
Yeah, I feel like that's what the horse's name would have been. Horus the
Maybe.
Horse.
Maybe we'd all be going to Disney taking pictures with Horus.
That'd be something.
That would be something. So, did Ub try to fight Walt for rights to Mickey Mouse?
I don't think so because, no, I really don't think so. And I know that although they went their separate ways and kind of had a falling out, they did eventually rekindle their friendship. And I know that Walt did have some part in it. Like, they came up with the idea together. They were brainstorming together, but Walt's just not the one who actually drew him. But yeah, I don't know.
So he may have been his idea, but he wasn't put on paper by him.
Yeah, the way that I've seen it whenever I was doing my research is that, like I said, they were kind of brainstorming together, but it wasn't necessarily like Walt's idea. It wasn't necessarily Ub's idea. They were kind of just working in collaboration, but Walt did not draw him.
Yeah. But that kind of
Very
goes
interesting.
with the way that Disney is now anyway, whereas nobody who draws something is not their property. It's Disney's property. So,
Yeah.
and I know that other companies do that as well, but it just, like, Disney has always done that from the start.
But were
Yeah.
they already a big company before Mickey Mouse came along?
No, because they had just had a failure with Oswald. I can't remember the full story of that, but they had created the Oswald cartoon and then they lost control over it.
Because that was when they were working for a different company, if I
Yes.
remember
Yes.
correctly.
Yes, so at this point, they were trying to create the next Oswald, basically, because they thought Oswald was their, like, ticket in. And then whenever they found out that he wasn't, Mickey Mouse was their new Oswald, basically. So they weren't, like, an established big company at that time.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always fun to go back into the history of not only Walt and but just Mickey in general. So
Right.
very cool. All right, Amanda, what about a tip?
Okay, so we all know, especially now that Genie Plus is here, your phones drain really fast when you're at the park. And something I just learned is that, like, guest services will charge your phone for you. If you bring your own cord, they have places that they'll plug in your phone. You'll just be without your phone for a little bit. I haven't actually tried that, but that's what I've seen in my research. But also, there are plugs and things you can find throughout the park. One I wanted to make sure I mentioned was in Magic Kingdom, in the Tangled area where those restrooms are. Right across from there, there are some tables, and it looks like wood stumps that you sit on. So tables and some wood stumps. And inside those wood stumps, there are actually USB plugs that you can plug your cord in and charge your phone right in a tree stump.
Very cool. Or you can bring a big power station like I do and charge your phone for like a 3-week period.
Yeah. Who wants to carry like a 15-pound weight in their backpack?
It's not 15 pounds.
Okay, 20.
It's like maybe 5. It's a pretty
Still.
big power station. And I bring it because you never know what people are going to want to charge, like phones and cameras and whatever else. There's a lot of stuff you can
Yeah.
charge.
I mean, they also have throughout the parks, they have those chargers that you can exchange for new ones.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
Yes.
But those obviously cost, so it's much more fun to find the free ones, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I never really thought about going and trying to find plugs or charging stations at the park. So
Yeah, there
it's a
are
good
other
tip
ones
if you need
too.
it.
Yeah.
I have seen them. I've never needed them because I have my power station.
You have your brick. Yep,
Yep.
we know.
All right. Well, that's going to bring us to the segment. The segment this week is Hero or Villain, and I picked Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland.
He's so cute.
Cute,
His-
but
So cute.
is he a hero
mischievous.
or villain?
This was a pretty good one. I'm just going to throw out my initial reaction whenever you presented this to us, and it is villain. And upon refreshing my memory on Alice in Wonderland and the Cheshire Cat, I am sticking to villain.
Okay,
And
very
why
interesting.
are you saying villain?
Because he's constantly, throughout the whole movie, kind of trying to trick Alice, and it seems like he's doing it for his own entertainment. Like, he specifically sends her to the queen and kind of like does things to make the queen even more angry at Alice, and even kind of tries to get the queen to kill Alice at one point. So, and he's doing this, you can tell he's doing this because he wants to see what's going to happen and he's entertained by it. So, I definitely think he's a villain.
Okay.
Very interesting. Amanda, what about you?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I was actually going to say hero just because I think I don't know. He didn't seem like a villain to me. I mean, obviously he's not a hero either. He's just a mischievous little critter. But I could definitely see where M is coming from. He does do some naughty things, but just because you do some stuff that may be questionable doesn't necessarily mean you're a villain. So I'd probably still say hero because I like to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. Well, don't put Amanda in Wonderland, I guess. uh, so I picked this one because he's kind of right there in no man's land, right? Like it's kind of difficult to really nail down his character and who Cheshire Cat really is. Because sometimes he does things that are good, but it also, like Emily said, he is mischievous and does things just to see what happens. I would put him in the category of chaotic neutral. Like, he is not good or evil, but he's chaotic for sure. I'm actually going to agree with Emily, though, and say that he's a villain because it goes a little bit beyond being mischievous whenever you try to get somebody's head cut off.
See, that's where I was going with it.
I think that's the one big thing that gives me the indication that he is a villain.
Yeah, I agree with that. Trying to get someone killed is not a hero quality.
No, it's really not. You should not be putting anybody in that situation. Okay, so I think we kind of got that one nailed on the head. So villain for Cheshire Cat. And that's going to bring us into the main topic. We are talking about Hong Kong Disneyland. Amanda, you are the only one that has been to Hong Kong Disneyland.
Yes, I am the only person in the whole entire world that has gone. Just me. It's my park.
You knew what I
Oh,
meant.
you meant out of the three of us. Yes, I'm the
Yes.
only one out of the three of us that has gone. And I've been twice. I loved it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so this park opened September 12th, 2005. When did you go?
I went for the 10th anniversary. I was there in October of 2015 and December of 2015.
Why did you go twice in that short time span?
This was actually whenever I was living over in Japan, and
So it wasn't that
Oc-
far away.
it wasn't that far away. It was like a 2-hour flight, not
Yeah.
far at all. Um, in October, we went because we were going over Columbus Day and we had free time. It was actually super cheap. It was cheaper to go there than to go to mainland Japan. So we went to Hong Kong and went to Disneyland. And we actually stayed in one of the Disney resorts there and had a great time. And then we were going back. My cousin was coming to visit us, and they were flying in from Dallas, and their first flight was into Hong Kong. So we decided to meet them in Hong Kong and stay a few days, and then they flew back with us to Okinawa, and so we've gone twice.
Very cool. So the one thing that I know that I'm really jealous of is you got to go to Hong Kong Disney during Halloween.
It was amazing. Loved it. Yes. It was perfect.
What was
Really
your
enjoyed
what
it.
was your favorite part about going during the Halloween season?
Two things really stick out in my mind whenever I think about it. The first is called Cycle of the Spirits at Mystic Manor, and it was amazing. The show is really cool, and it's like ghosts, but they're actually people dressed up as ghosts. So they're all in white, their outfits all white, their face and hands and everything are painted white. They're all white. And then they have like a green eerie light on it, so it's really cool and gives it a kind of eerie feeling. But they come out and they mingle with the guests. So my husband went and was going to ride a roller coaster that was in the next land over. And here comes one of the ghosts and got on the roller coaster with him. I mean, they are really into it, and it's kind of spooky, but it's
That's
really cool.
that's really funny. I do like the fact that they will follow you and
Oh,
ride a
yeah.
ride with you.
I know
Yes.
that's cool. That's like next level. I
Yeah.
wish they would do that stuff at our parks.
I know. It was so cool. Just the interaction and everything of it was amazing. And the other thing that I really enjoyed was Jungle Cruise because they had a Halloween spooky overlay on it, and that was really cool.
Ooh, I like that.
So for the theming of this park, I mean, I think it's pretty, you know, cut and dry. It's fairy tales, adventures, America, future, and Disney characters. I mean, pretty much the same theming as any other Disney park you'll go to.
It
But
really reminds me of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
one thing that I wanted to point out about this park in particular is that it's co-owned by the Walt Disney Company and the government of Hong Kong. So with the theme parks, if you're not aware, the theme parks that are outside of the United States, they're not specifically owned by Walt Disney Company. They typically are owned by or co-owned by some other entity as well.
One of the things that I had read that I found interesting was that they really took into consideration the culture there and didn't want to obviously like over Americanize it. And they said that feng shui was very important whenever creating the park. And I thought that that was really cool.
Yeah, that's
And
really
it is
interesting.
cool because you can tell when you walk into their park, just the way the castle is situated around with the mountains around it, you can tell that they took a lot of time and tried to really put it in the right everything in the right spot. And you can tell. And it probably is the way it moves and stuff, you know. It
Yeah.
it's a feeling you get walking in. It's pretty cool.
All right, well, kind of touching on that topic, let's go ahead and talk about the lands that are there. I mean, not necessarily just the lands, but like the different areas that you can go to in the park. There's Main Street USA, there's Adventureland, there's Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, Toy Story Land, Grizzly Gulch, Mystic Point, and there's two future areas that are going to the park, and that's Arendelle, World of Frozen, and Marvel section. Uh, there's already some Marvel entities there, but they're getting like a bigger Avenger area, kind of like it seems like what they put into California.
Right. Now, something I found really interesting since you brought up Marvel is that one of the rides there, the Iron Man experience, is actually the first Disney Marvel attraction that out of any of the parks.
Yeah, and that one's kind of like Star Tours. It's built on the same kind of ride mechanism.
Yeah.
But it's also 3D,
Right.
right? So something that Star Tours isn't.
It's not, but it's same type of ride, but with the 3D component.
Right.
I also thought it was really cool. Just another little fact about the Iron Man experience ride is that Stan Lee made one of his final appearances in the like little pre-ride video that they play at the beginning.
That's cool. You can't ever get rid of that. I mean, you have to have that forever.
I know.
Yeah. No, you have to have Stanley on that for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so talking about the rides, there's approximately 15. I know that number is going to go up a little bit with the Arendelle and the Marvel, but as of right now, it's around 15. I couldn't get an exact number, but that's approximately.
It felt like there was more than that. I mean,
It's
but
not a whole lot.
maybe not. It's not a whole lot. It is the smallest of the Disney parks. It was really fun though, because whenever we went, at least, there weren't a whole bunch of people there. So you could pretty much walk on to any ride, which was amazing. Now, they didn't have some of the rides, like Iron Man Experience wasn't even there when we went. It was being built, but it wasn't finished yet. So it has changed quite a bit. I mean, it's been, what, 7 years almost now. So it has changed and they've added new things, but it was a lot of fun being so small. It felt more intimate and like Disney World used to be.
Right. One thing
Yeah.
that I did notice that people were saying about the park itself was that it seemed like it's more of a leisure park than it is like we would find Disney World or Disneyland here in the States.
For sure.
Just because it's typically not as packed. I know that like during the opening, it was extremely packed. And they were talking about like every ride was 2 hours plus.
Yikes.
The restaurants, the quick service stuff was 45-minute wait at minimum. And so the opening seemed like it was really packed, but everything that I've read since then has said that, it's like a nice leisure day in one of the Disney parks.
It is. It was really nice. And before we had gone to Hong Kong Disneyland, we had gone to the parks in Japan. And comparing the two, this one was really nice because a lot of things were in English and it made you feel more comfortable being in the park. You could understand what was going on. And most cast members could speak English, which was nice too, which is something you don't find at the Japan parks. So I really enjoyed both of those. Something else, like some of the shows, they would have different times, and one time would be in Cantonese, one time would be in Mandarin, one time would be in English. So they had shows for the three most popular languages there, which was nice.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's putting a lot of foresight into who's going to be going to the parks.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's really neat because then you really don't feel super lost when you're there.
Right.
Yeah. Which I know, being the dumb American travelers, we don't like to be inconvenienced.
Yeah, but it's nice for other people too. I mean, there was a lot of British influence in Hong Kong.
Right.
So it's not just Americans that needed the English,
It's
but
probably
it is
mostly
nice.
the Americans that need the English. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but something else I thought that was really cool about it is, you know, that feeling, the magic feeling that you get at Walt Disney World with the way the cast members treat you and the friendliness and everything. They had that tenfold in Hong Kong. It was very nice.
How does it
Like,
compare to Japan?
Japan, they're nice, but they're not friendly necessarily. Like
They're just more polite.
they're very polite and they'll help you and do, you know, anything, but it's different. They're not warm and friendly. Hong Kong is very warm and friendly. So it felt like home. It
Yeah.
felt like being at Disney World, but smaller.
Okay. Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It sounds great.
So one of the most popular rides there, we've already kind of touched on a bit, and we actually did an episode about this one in particular, is Mystic Manor. That's been kind of a fan favorite for a while.
There's a great reason because it's a great ride.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that I've heard talk about the park and the ride itself says that it's worth the admission on its own.
Yes. I really enjoyed Mystic Manor. It just riding the ride itself is great, but then again, that Cycle of Spirits show that they do, yep, they need something like that here for sure.
Yeah, it would, like, if we're talking about just at Haunted Mansion or even Tower of Terror, I think that it would go over really well at both of those locations.
See, I don't know how it would work at Tower of Terror.
Oh, I bet we could find a good way to implement it at Tower of Terror.
I don't know.
We could
Not with
probably
real
make our
people.
own episode about how we could make that a Tower of Terror thing.
If you actually saw it, you would understand what I mean. I don't think it would work at Tower of Terror. Not the way it did there.
Not the way it did there, but I'm sure we could make something work.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I'm saying. One of the things that I found really interesting doing some research is not that long ago, they actually updated the Space Mountain that's there, and it is now Star Wars themed. That actually
That's
started in
pretty cool.
2016.
Once again, after I visited, so that means I have to go back.
Well, darn.
Darn my bad luck.
Yeah. Just terrible. You're going to have to go to a Disney park.
I know.
Yeah, their Space Mountain, which is called Hyperspace Mountain, sounds really cool. It says that it's like you're in outer space, riding around, blasting First Order ships.
Yeah.
So, that sounds fun.
That does sound fun.
Especially for Star
And-
Wars fans.
It's got the two-person cars, you know, so you're
Yeah.
not single file. I really don't like that.
I know.
about-
I don't like the single ones either.
Yeah.
Look, I like Space Mountain. Is
I
it
do
a little
too.
cramped for me? Yes, it is. But, yeah, I still am going to ride it. Last time I was
too.
there, I got on Space Mountain at Disney World, in 15 minutes, and I was in heaven. So, all right, let's kind of change from the attractions and let's talk about the shows. There's one show in particular that I wanted to talk about, and that is one that is only there during the summer, and that's Pixar Summer Water Play Parade. Have you guys seen this one? Do you know anything about it?
Nope, but that sounds like fun.
It looks like it's so much fun. It's only in the summer because it is a parade that gets everybody in the audience wet.
Oh.
So they have like super soakers and they spray water from the floats, and it's all Pixar characters.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I think so too, because it gives you another element rather than just seeing and hearing the parade.
Yeah.
Right.
You're trying to dodge water.
Well, that would actually be really nice in Disney World during the summer.
Yeah. So do they let the audience have water guns too and spray the cast members? Because
I
that
doubt
would
it.
be awesome.
I doubt it. I mean, I didn't see particularly that, but
I doubt it
I
too,
doubt
but
it. Now,
except
could
all
you
those
get just a
costumes.
cup of water and dump it on your parents? Sure, probably.
Oh gosh, don't give anybody ideas.
Too late. You know, they do sell like the souvenir mugs and stuff. You can just keep refilling that.
Oh,
Yeah.
stop.
Don't forget your caution tape. Let's go ahead and move to transportation. We've talked about transportation before, and this needs to be a thing at all the Disney parks, in all honesty. They have the MTR line, and basically you pay a subway fare and you get to the parks and resorts.
Okay, so the way this works is they have a train, the MTR, that goes throughout all of Hong Kong. There is a stop where you can change trains, and it has a train that goes directly to Disneyland. So it's a stop just for Disneyland. I don't know. It's public transportation. But the train itself is decorated like a Disney train. But they don't have a monorail. So this is kind of in place of. But
Right.
it's not Disney owned. It's part of the public transportation.
Now, let me ask you, is there any kind of transportation from airports to hotels, resorts, and the parks?
You can take a taxi, which is what we did the first time.
Okay, and
Or you
that's
can
going to be
take-
more than subway fare.
Or you can take, it's not a subway, it's a train.
Subway fare meaning, you
Okay.
know what I mean.
Yeah. So, or the train, which has multiple stops and isn't as convenient if you're carrying luggage.
I could see that, but I also think because I've seen pictures of the train and the theming of it and stuff, it seems like once you got on there and saw the theming, it would kind of get you excited for your trip.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that.
It's almost like Magical Express to a degree.
Yeah.
Not exactly, obviously, but to a degree.
Less convenient
Less convenient, but
and not free.
right.
So basically not at all like it.
I
It-
get what
it
you're
is
saying, though.
similar.
It gets you.
I'm
I
not-
see what you mean. Like, it gets you in the mindset
Exactly.
because of the theming and stuff, just like
Yes.
Magical Express does. I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was saying. Thank you, Emily, for seeing what I actually meant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so kind of speaking of the resorts, there are 3 resorts. I don't have the names. Amanda, do you have the names of those?
I do have the names. We have the Disney Explorers Lodge. And looking at this hotel, it reminds me of like a mixture of Animal Kingdom Lodge, Polynesian, and Wilderness Lodge with the Asian twist.
Okay.
It looks really nice. That resort was not open whenever we went. So that one I think is the newest resort. The two that were there when we were there were the Hong Kong Disneyland Hotel, which looks very much like the Grand Floridian, is what it reminds me of. And then the resort we stayed in was Disney's Hollywood Hotel. And it has a very Art Deco type,
Like old Hollywood feel.
old Hollywood, yes, feel.
Okay, very cool.
Mhm.
I would actually be really interested in staying there
Yeah, it
because
was
I
very
really
nice.
do like the Art Deco style.
To me, just looking at like the outside of the hotel, it looks a lot like Hollywood Studios, like by the entrance, the little main
Right.
Sunset Boulevard, that whole area. It's very much like that, which is really cool.
Yeah. And then inside that resort, they have Chef Mickey's, which we actually did while we were there. And you get to take your picture with Mickey just like you do at the one in Florida. Actually, in Florida, it's with the Goofy, I guess, now. And in the Hong Kong Disneyland Hotel, they have a character meal that's in the Enchanted Garden. And it looks, by pictures, I didn't actually go to that one. It looks like it's like 1500 Park Fair almost.
Yeah, I also saw that the Hong Kong Disneyland Hotel has a Bippity Boppity Boutique.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I didn't have any little kids with me then, so
Yeah.
I didn't experience that.
It very much reminds me of the Grand Floridian.
Yeah. It has the same architecture style and
Mm-hmm.
it seems like a lot of the same amenities that the Grand Floridian has.
Yeah.
So, Amanda, talk about the dining a little bit, just because you've had some experience there at the park. How was the dining experience?
I remember two of the places we went to. Um, I remember Chef Mickey's because it's character meal and it's very similar to our Chef Mickey's with just different cuisine. And one of the restaurants in Tomorrowland, I remember going there and we had burgers. Nothing really stands out as over the top great. Like Disney World, I feel like there's places that I'm like, oh my gosh, and I crave it when I get back. There was nothing there that I really craved to go back to, if that makes sense.
Okay, but was it more of an Americanized palette, or was it more local?
It had a mixture, but a lot of it was more local.
Okay,
I also, whenever I was looking into the restaurants and stuff, I did see that they they have a lot of like more Western palette options there, and I mean, I it does seem like it's a good mix, but they did say that it is a lot more kind of Americanized too, and that people who live in the area will kind of go there to have more Americanized food and not escape, but like have a change of, you know, palate.
So I feel like it's kind of like this. Here, we say something is Italian food, right? But it's not the same as going to Italy and getting Italian food, right?
right.
It's kind of the same there. So they say it's American, but it's not really American like it is here. It's their own version of American.
Well, I would personally, if I was going to Hong Kong Disneyland, I would want to indulge in the traditional food more so than their take
Yeah.
on American food, honestly.
Yeah. Well, like for breakfast, we went to Chef Mickey's for breakfast. A lot of the breakfast is like fish, and I'm not eating fish for breakfast. I'm
Ooh,
sorry.
I'll eat fish whenever.
Yeah, I don't really like fish, so having it for breakfast just does not sound appealing to me. So it's just different. It's just different. Not bad, just different. So one thing I wanted to mention was this was the first park that I saw a Toy Story land, and it was really cool feeling like you shrunk down to the size of a toy, kind of like the one at Walt Disney World is now, but they did it first. And they had like a Slinky dog spin ride. So the Slinky dog dash coaster looks very similar to this ride, except this one is just a circle that goes around and around. And then they had an RC racer. So it looks like those racetracks, when you went up and down
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you actually get to go up and down, which is really cool. It's like a roller coaster, but not, it just goes up and down. And then a Toy Story toy soldier parachute. So you get to sit and it's like you're dropping in a parachute, which was pretty cool. And
Oh.
all of it makes you feel like you're a toy and you're playing in, you know, somebody's backyard or
Yeah.
whatever.
I've heard that the Toy Story parachute drop is a fan favorite in that area.
It's really cool. Yeah. I mean, all the rides there I thought were fun. I liked the way their Toy Story Land was laid out more, I think. I mean, obviously Disney World couldn't do it quite the same just because there's so many more people there, so I get that. But this one felt more intimate and it really felt like you were in somebody's backyard playing,
Yeah, that's really
which is
cool.
kind of nice. Something else I wanted to mention is that the castle is brand new, basically. They totally reimagined it from what it was originally for their 15-year anniversary, so in 2020. And the new castle is twice the height of what it was originally. And it has 13 spires, also different turrets and towers, and each tower is for a different princess. So it's not just one specific princess's castle. It takes inspiration from lots of different movies. And not only the princesses are inspiration there, but there are like columns inside that one may represent Nemo and one may represent Mrs. Potts. So not only the princesses are there, but also other Disney characters are represented throughout the castle, which is
Yeah.
really neat.
And that's one of the reasons why I put this one higher up on my list of icon rankings than you guys did, because of the representation of not just the princesses but also just the other Disney characters.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool aspect.
Yep. I do too. And I would love to go see this castle again now that it's changed. Previously, it reminded me a lot of the castle from Disneyland. And it was a Sleeping Beauty castle also, but it was smaller like that. So it didn't make a big, huge statement like the one would now.
Right. And I'm wondering if that's the reason why they changed it, is to make more of a statement.
Possibly, yes. And I can see why it was smaller before, just because of the area around there, the way it's situated in the mountains. It was a beautiful backdrop there to the castle, and it fit perfectly.
I mean, it
So I
looks like
can
it
see,
still is.
and yeah, like I said, I haven't seen it in person since
Right.
the new castle was there. I could just speak from whenever I was there in person with the smaller castle. It seemed to fit really nicely. I'm sure the new one looks perfect there too, but it's just nice the way theirs is laid out. Another thing I thought was really cool about this castle is that when Disney unveiled it, they asked cast members, guests, community partners to write down their wishes and dreams, and they collected them all, put them in a treasure chest, and then locked him up in the top of Aurora's tower. So they have people's wishes and dreams up there.
So kind of like a time capsule of wishes.
Yes,
That's cute.
it is. Thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, that's really nice. All right, well, that's going to bring us into mousekeeping. We want to promote our YouTube. You can find us at bit.ly/T3M YouTube. That's all lowercase. Again, that link is bit.ly/T3M YouTube. Go join us on all of our social media. You can find us at T3M Podcast. If you want to support the show, then leave us a 5-star written review on your podcast app of choice, and we will read it on an upcoming episode.
I'd love to plan your next magical getaway. Whether you're looking for a Disney vacation, Universal vacation, all-inclusive resort, international destination, or a cruise, I'm here to help. Contact me when you're ready for your free, no-obligation quote, and don't forget my services are complimentary. You can find me on Facebook at Amanda.hollis, Capture the Magic Vacations, or send me an email at amanda.hollis@capturethemagicvacations.com. You can find my contact information in the show notes.
Join us for our next episode releasing Thursday, the 10th of February. Be sure you're subscribed to the show so that you're updated when a new episode comes out every other Thursday.
Okay, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for listening. You can also be a part of the magic by following the show at T3M Podcast on all social media platforms. That's T3M Podcast. Leave us a 5-star written review and we'll read it on an upcoming episode. If you have an announcement that you would like to have on the show or just want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at T3Mpodcast@gmail.com.
Have a zippity-doo-dah day.
See you real soon.